Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the Daedric Podcast, and I am your host, Lyriander. And with me, I have, again, Tom.
Guys, how you doing?
So, as promised, today we'll be talking about Mannimarco and a few other things. Though the recordings didn't go entirely as planned. Right, Tom?
Safe to say, I was supposed to do the Mages Guild quest, but I was somehow stuck in Oblivion for like an hour, so
All
yeah,
right.
that went well.
Let me get everything up. Let's see, a little bit more quiet. Alright, let's start yours part. Little quieter. Okay. And then we start the other one. There we go. And my stream safe. There we go.
Nice.
Alright,
So,
now we have got both playing, yes.
Since we didn't know that I was gonna be stuck in Oblivion for a sizable piece of sizable portion of the recording. But we prepared for the Mages Guild quest in Oblivion, how it is with the necromancy and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And the man pulling the strings behind the goal, him being Mannimarco, the first undying lich, which
yes.
is not true.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Kind
We'll
of
get there in a
it.
sec.
So, Lyriander, if you want to
Yeah.
start about
Yes.
Mannimarco.
Yes, of course. One of the biggest tomes of knowledge regarding Mannimarco is the book Mannimarco, the King of Worms, which is an entire poem about basically Mannimarco's rise and fall, at least the original ones. And it starts off, the first mention of time it gives is that, let's see, yes, 10 score years and 30 since the mighty remnants fell. Now, to anyone who hasn't read the Bible, of all things, score doesn't usually mean much, but score is 20 years. So 10 scores, 230. So 230 years of the second era. That is when Mannimarco and what's his name? Vanas gotta say it right. Yes, Vanas Galarian. Vanas Galarian were both students of the Sigic Order. Now the Sigic Order is basically the ultimate guild of magicians. They have been around for a long time.
Everybody knows probably like the Mages Guild, which is the thing that you can join in the Elder Scrolls games.
Yes.
It's for the ordinary man.
Yes.
Let's say if you're an archmage in the Mages Guild, you can call a thundering like storm. You can maybe summon a greater grand Daedra or something. If you're a Sigic monk, you can stop the fucking time.
Yeah. Time is your control. You can teleport.
Astral projection, like calling a fucking meter. It's like a whole nother level of magic potential.
Yes.
Sigic Order and Sigic monks are like
they are
far above. Yeah, they're extremely magically.
They're very powerful,
talented.
But they have a policy of not interfering with the rest of the world. It's like the ultimate level of geek, basically. But so Vanas Galarian and Mannimarco are both we're both students together. Now, Vanas Galarian and Mannimarco end up being like the biggest rivals ever. And for those of you who don't remember, Galarian is the one who created the Mage Guild. So as they were students, Galarian disagreed with Mannimarco's attempts at necromancy. He was already doing it. he just already
Sijic
liked it.
monks, can the Sijic monks actually engage in necromancy, or is it forbidden?
I
in
don't
their
think
ranks?
it wasn't forbidden at time. At the time, it was just this like, you know, you can study whatever you want, no problem. But like it was considered a
study
dark
and
arts.
practice.
No one bothers learning it. They are too busy learning other things. So Mannimarco
That's
really
true,
was the
like-
first. And so the order was not really concerned, was not too concerned about it. But Galerian really disagreed with it, and told the rest of the order about the threat that it would pose. But they just didn't care. And eventually, his dark arts did get Mannimarco banished, and so he went to Tamriel to look for more death and souls to use for his experiments. Galarian was like, "What the fuck? You need to help the common men and mare. You need to protect them against his power." And they were like, "No, we don't care about them." And that's why Galarian, established the Mages Guild to, on the one hand, help the common man learn a bit more about magic, and on the other hand, fight basically Mannimarco. So
I need cookies because the making of Mages Guild, as you said, it was to help the common man. Even though magic is somewhat prominent in the Elder Scrolls universe, it is still feared by the local man.
yes, well, even more so after the Oblivion crisis, but
And
we can get to that later.
Exactly. The thing with magic is that it's not exactly explained lore-wise how it goes with like when you are born, if you are actually from birth innate to magic.
Yes, it's not entirely like
It's
they
not
do
explained.
they do explain kind of where magic comes from. Comes
Yeah,
from the
from
stars.
Ethereals and stuff like that, but they never explain like how you actually go on about casting a spell.
Yeah, no, it seems to be related to your willpower, but it's never stated whether you need a pool of magicka or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's half and half, like your willpower and your intelligence when it comes to like the stats.
Mhm.
But that bears the question, like, are the stats like direct? Is it just a gameplay feature, or is it like if you have a very intelligent person in the Elder Scrolls universe, can they like cast light or like unlock basic locks with just a flick of their wrist? Like it doesn't. They don't need to train. They maybe don't even know about magic, but if they're really like talented, if they have the predisposition for it, it can be like a mother of a family, and she's just like doing chores around the house, and she needs to pick up some glass, and she just telekinesis. Like, that also this bears the question: how did mages come up with the spells?
Yeah, no, it's a whole thing that they haven't explained, and it's okay, I guess.
Because if they explain it,
It loses
they
part
ne-
of the magic.
yeah, exactly. It loses its magic
Exactly.
because magic is supposed to be the unexplained thing.
Yes. All right.
If you look at how other fantasy universes explain magic, for example, the Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons thing, where the whole universe is like has an invisible spider web throughout it, and the little threads are basically magic. And when you cast a spell, you pull on the threads and you form them into some shape, and then you speak its magic word, and a spell manifests.
Yes, there's a whole logic to it. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole logic to it, but this is not explained in the Elder Scrolls universe because
maybe they have like something in mind, but they haven't like fully fleshed it out. Because the moment they give like a explanation to it, they need to keep in mind all the people who can give their own interpretations to it. Who can abuse it.
And they have to form it so it applies to the whole universe.
Yeah. It needs to explain everything, and
exactly. They basically need to give the explanation why a common man, why can't every bandit or every commoner cast basic spells?
Yeah, exactly. And it does bring in a nice point, because another thing that they did use for explanations is dragon breaks.
Oh
Which
yeah,
we
time
might
paradox
yeah
time.
yeah we might get into like in a different podcast. We might talk about it more, but long story short, dragon break is basically when time sort of breaks and like several things happen at the same time that couldn't happen. But there is like one book in particular which also mentions Mannimarco, which is called what was it called again? Where Were You When the Dragon Broke? Very nice name for a book. But so basically in that book, it is stated like the author basically had an interview with Mannimarco, and he like asked him about the dragon break, which happened in the first era, between the year 1200 and 2208. And the book claims that basically Mannimarco was not only alive at the time, he was also called the god of worms rather than the king of worms. So suddenly he's a god. So because this has to do with Dragon Break, every book basically that concerns like these Dragon Breaks or even the Elder Scrolls, like it just becomes inconsistent time-wise, which is a nice feature, but it's something that the designers of the game definitely use to explain every change that they make.
Exactly, and not only inconsistent.
Yeah.
For example, I don't suppose many of you played the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall.
Yes.
But the game itself has multiple endings. There's
Oh,
like six,
six
nine.
endings, I think. Yeah.
And at the end, the world break
The dragon
happens.
break.
The dragon break, sorry, happens, and basically all of the endings happen at once.
Yes.
And one of the endings has to do something with basically giving the heart of Talos to Mannimarco.
It's not. Yeah, it's arguable whether it's the Heart of Talos or one of his battle mages, but yeah.
Yeah, basically a very powerful. We can say a demigod being.
Something like that.
A piece of it you give it to the most powerful lich that has ever lived.
Yeah, and then he becomes more powerful, and then he begins.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he creates or whether he. But something related to the Necromancer's Moon, which is a book that you are reading later on in the. In your playthrough, but. Let's see. So yeah, Mannimarco was already getting more powerful then. But let's go back in time a bit, because yes, the beginning of Mannimarco. So he was going around Tamriel, becoming more and more powerful, and he even like everywhere he goes, Galarian just chases him, tries to stop him, and obviously doesn't succeed.
What was their relationship?
They were rivals.
They were rivals.
Yes. At first they were like, fellow students, but then suddenly as Mannimarco became more interested in the dark arts, Galarian was like, "No, dude, what are you doing? Stop!" And then they just became more rival, and then eventually he was like, "No." Not sure if they actually were friends at any point. But...
Yeah, because it's safe to say that these two were at the time, or maybe even in quote unquote like current time, they were the most powerful mortal mages that have ever lived. And you said that they are rivals. Yeah, they were.
I'm not sure if they actually were the most powerful. They were just one of the more powerful ones, definitely. And they became more and more powerful as well, especially Mannimarco. And because of that, Galarian had to be as well.
Yeah, but was their relationship like violent? That's the question I wanted to ask. Like, that's nice that they were rivals, but were they like, was Galarian actively trying to stop Mannimarco like by killing him?
No. I think at first it was just bringing him to justice. At first, it wasn't until later that he might have like tried to kill him in one way or the other. And the funny thing is, let's see. So as Mannimarco is going around, apparently at some point he, let's see, how it's said in the improved Emperor's Guide to Tamriel, which was written before the Second Era 281. Hundreds of years after getting expelled from the Sijic Order, Mannimarco became an advisor to Chancellor Tharn and the Elder Council. Now, two things that you need to know from that is that one, he was a Altmer, and they have very long lifespans, so that's how he's able to survive for hundreds of years. And two, he apparently is getting in good positions, despite the fact that he's a fucking necromancer, and the Mages Guild's after him. But
Necromancy wasn't.
No, it wasn't illegal.
Down upon in the what?
It wasn't illegal yet, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't illegal. It was like looked. Was it looked down upon in the earlier eras?
It was just a dark art, I think. So, like, most people don't deal with it. Also, would you really want to spend all your time with rotten corpses all the time?
Yeah.
It was only in the Mages Guild that it was really like, don't do it because we're fighting that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, necromancy as a whole, like a school of magic, it's a controversial one because on one hand you're the evil scheming warlock that raises death to his army, and on the other hand you can be an agent of Mara going around and raising loved past ones
yes.
for them to have the last word with their families.
Yes, exactly. So you could do it in a good way, but they don't.
Absolutely. Like that's the thing with necromancy. Like on one hand, it's like raising the dead to fight for you, basically desecrating their corpses. On the other hand, necromancy has so many valuable uses.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are explained in the book called The Path of Transcendence, which it's a book written by a lich soon to be. It's a necromancer that is currently transforming in a lich, and this is basically his journal. And in there he explains how necromancy is shamed and how some of the scholars use it, for example, to raise rare albino mud crabs to preserve their population.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. See, that's how you do it in a positive way.
Yeah, like necromancy has positive uses. The thing is that yes, you can go into the local cemetery and raise someone's mother and make someone's mother fight the son. Yeah, it's not nice. Safe to say.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so yeah, necromancy was not all that bad in the beginning. But so the funny thing is that the entirety of Elder Scrolls Online takes place in between, where you actually fight Mannimarco as well. He gains a lot of power with his deal to Molag Bal, but spoiler alert: at the end he loses that power, or I'm not sure if he loses that power. He just he doesn't get very far with it. He eventually gets defeated by the Vestige, the characters you play, and he just runs away basically. But it's still fun.
You of course fight him in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, so he has to survive for another 1,000 years.
Yeah, something like that. So let's see. During the Elder Scrolls Online, you also meet Galarian actually, which is kind of cool. And you kind of like, you basically talk about Mannimarco with him. I haven't really played that far in Elder Scrolls Online, so I don't know how extensive he talks about him, but sounds definitely something that you should research if you want to learn more about it. But after the Elder Scrolls Online, some years later, it's not exactly sure when that happens, but Galarian I think he was feeling that he was going to die at some point, like he was getting old.
Like from old age.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's the thing or not. They didn't specify.
Galarian was Altmer, right?
Yes, he's Altmar as well. He's also fucking old as hell.
Yeah, Altmer, like you don't have to be even a lich.
No, you just like survive for so long.
Yeah, the classic fantasy rule applies. Elves live long.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. But anyway, so before his death, Galarian felt like he needed to bring an end to Mannimarco, and so he set out with his mages and his lamp knights. Interesting name for a knight group, and they chased after Mannimarco, and it's a bit vague, but they say that they went north from where they were, and they went into a mountain pass, and there we have the epic battle, which I can actually, let's see, yeah, I can read a bit if you want, like a bit of the poem that describes that battle.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, here we
We
go.
can finish the poem and then talk about how actually one becomes a lich.
Yes, well that happens after that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, those who survived the battle say it was like, was never seen. Well, no. Armored with magicka and armed with ensorrowed sword and axe, Galarian cried, echoing, "Worm King, surrender your artifacts and their power to me, and you shall live as befits the dead." A hollow laugh answered, "You die first," Mannimarco said. The mage army then clashed with the unholy force obscene. Imagine waves of fire and frost, and the mountains shiver. Picture lightning arching forth, crackling in a dragon's sigh. Like leaves, the battle mages fly to rain down from the sky. At the necromancer's call, corpses burst from the earth to fight, to be shattered into nothingness with a flood of holy light. A maelstrom of energy unleashed, bloods, cascades in rivers. Like a thunderburst in blue skies, or a lion's sudden roar. Like sharp razors tearing over delicate embroidered lace, so at the touch did Galarian shake the mountains to its base. The deathly horde fell fatally, but heeding their dying cries, from the depths the thing they call the Worm King did rise. Nirn itself did scream in the mages and necromancers' war. His eyes burning dark fire, he opened his toothless maw, vomiting darkness with each exhalation of his breath. All sucking in the fetid air felt the icy touch of death. In the skies above the mountain, darkness overcame pale. Then Mannimarco, Worm King, felt his dismal powers fail. The artifacts of death pulled from his putrid skeletal claw. 1,000 good and evil perished then, history confirms. Among, alas, vanished Galarian, he who showed the way. It seemed once that Mannimarco had truly died that day. Scattered seemed the necromancers, wicked, ghastly fools. Back to the mages' guild, victors kept the accursed tools. Of him living still in undeath, Mannimarco, king of worms.
That's cool.
Yes. So at this point, so before this fight, Mannimarco had already become a lich, and
Wait, hold on. In the poem, there are a few things that I noted
Yes.
that are really interesting. The first one was flying battle mages.
oh yeah, that was
Can
a
you-
time. That
you
was a
can
time when things are flying. Huh?
You can fly.
Yeah,
In
I mean technically
Elder
in Morrowind you can sort of do that too.
You can levitate.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of like
but-
flying.
There was battle mages flying down from the sky.
yeah.
That sounds fucking epic. That's like Iron Man, like what's the game called? Anthem.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, and another thing was Mannimarco basically he transformed into the avatar of the god of worms there.
Well, it's hard to. No, it's never stated like that. It's like the way they describe it. It sounds like Mannimarco really did look like a lich as we know them.
Yeah, there was the artifacts ripped from his skeletal grasp.
Yes, exactly.
Skeletal.
Now,
That's
as
the
you
key
may
word there.
know, like in Oblivion, eventually you'll see him look like an actual Altmer,
Yeah,
and
he looks like a normal old ass dude. That's the thing.
yeah. So if you like, one thing you need to know about lichdom is that there are several ways to achieve it. You're gonna go into one of them in a bit, but the way Mannimarco did it was he actually created this sort of alchemical mixture of like various things, and then he sucked out all the power of the ingredients, and that's how he became a lich. And it feels like um, either this way of becoming a lich, or maybe after, quote unquote, dying to Galarian, he somehow regained his normal form, his humanoid form, because he shows up in Daggerfall as well as one of the things, but he doesn't show his face or anything. If I
Yeah, he's just
remember,
he's
hooded person.
yeah, hooded figure,
So you
like
could say that
glowing eyes.
you
That's
could
it.
say that he basically hasn't. He's trying to recover his elf form, and that's why he's currently completely hooded. And then by the time of Oblivion, he has regained that form. That's one
Yep.
possible explanation. Maybe that's what happens after you give him the totem of like basically the heart of the.
That's actually a great point. Yeah,
That is very possible. Now that I think about it.
yeah. I mean, no source on Lichdom explicitly says that you become skeletal
Yes.
when you become a lich. It doesn't even actually say that you have to die. It just says that in the case that you die, you go on living again.
Yeah. As long as you have your what's it called?
Phylactery.
Yeah.
But
Phylactery. Yeah.
that's actually I'm gonna read an entry from the Path of Transcendence when it came to the phylacteries.
Yes.
It's the book from the Lich Soon to Be. Entry, and this is the second entry in the diary. Even the most pedestrian peasant fairy tale has long held that the lich must somehow remain bound to his soul, and that connection most commonly manifests itself as a transference of the spirit into an actual physical object. An urn, a sarcophagus, a crystal. One Khajiit fairy tale even tells of a lich who preserved his spirit in a severed head of a wood elf infant. And
Yeah.
these same peasants long conformed themselves with the belief that if they ever had the grave misfortune of facing a lich, they would need only find the vessel containing his spirit form and then destroy it, thus destroying the lich himself. Fools and their folklore. True liches possess no such weakness. Can one of the sovereign's worm eremites be bested by shattering a glass vase? The very notion is so absurd as to be comical. Yes, a necromancer must transfer his soul into a physical vessel, but once that transference is complete, once the necromancer has fully metamorphosed into his lich form, the vessel is inconsequential. But its process of this transference itself that has eluded me for so long. My soul remains bound to my earthly body, and nothing I have attempted has allowed me to free myself of this mortal coil and transcend to the state of wisdom as I so dearly desire. So, yes, phylactery is important when you want to become a lich,
Yeah. Well, one of the
but
methods. Yes.
yeah, it's one of the methods. Like it's the most common method.
Yeah.
The method that Mannimarco used.
Is different
It's
and
it's is it a one of a kind?
hard to say, but it is stated that he reveals the secrets to his lichdom to his followers. So you could say that the uh, like the liches that come from the liches that come from the cult of worms have achieved their lichdom through a similar, if not the same, method that Mannimarco used, whereas everyone outside of that cult will have attained lichdom through the old method. But I think, let's see, I think we're mostly done with the lich part. Let's see. As you can see in our playthrough right now, Tom has just started reading a lot about the Ayleids and their magic, whereas I have started getting some dragons in my Skyrim.
Basically, the book I am currently reading, it's called the Magic from the Sky. Yes.
Yes.
And it talks about how the Ayleids had 4 elements, basically. Those elements being earth, air, water, and light.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And the light was very dear to them. Light was, in their eyes, the perfect element. And Ayleid magic was very different to all the other magics the different races use. Ayleids themselves are one of the last ones to have spells from the bygone era.
Yes, I can actually give you a bit of insight on that, because in the book Before the Ages of Man, they specifically state that yes, wild elves, also known as the Heartland High Elves, who eventually turn into the Ayleids, preserved the Dawn era magics and the language of the Elno-Fae. So basically, they used magic that from the earliest days of magic, which was much wilder and much more powerful.
The magic was, in a sense, primordial.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It was unbound, non-refined magic.
Yep.
And
yet they say it's unrefined, but they still manage to create like spell equivalents that we have like nowadays. Because
yeah, absolutely. But the thing with this is that there is an Ayleid called Tujarnfir. I don't know how to actually pronounce.
It sounds cool if you say it like that.
Turheinfir, maybe. I really have no idea. The thing with him, he lived in the late first era to the middle of the second era, and he was a member of this of the Sages Guild, which is basically like a Mages Guild. He was studying the University of Gwilym, and he is one of the co-authors of the book called The Wild Elves. And the Wild Elves book basically talks about the Ayleids, how their population has dwindled after the Saint Alician rebellion. Basically, after Mr. Pellinal decided to pull a Hitler on them.
That's one way of describing it.
Yeah.
It's always the humans that really hate the elves, don't they?
Pellinal isn't a human. That's the thing.
Yeah. That's even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a god.
No, he's not officially a god though. He's a
like,
chosen one by the gods.
He's an Ada.
Oh really? Okay. Okay, I need to read up my
Pellinal and Morihaus are both Ada.
We need to get more into that once you do the Knights of the Nine.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. But a quick side note here. Pellinal Whitestrake is the main protagonist of the DLC called what's it called?
Knights of the Nine, I think.
Knights of the Nine, yeah. Well, basically you revisit the events of the Saint Elysian rebellion, the slaughtering of the Ayleids, and
Yeah, well, you're not visiting anything. You're just like you're experiencing the after effects because it was never dealt with properly.
Yep. And basically, Pelennor Wildstrike, it's not exactly said like out loud in the lore, but it's very hinted upon that he is basically a Terminator sent from the future.
Damn.
And his sidekick or his companion, which is also his nephew,
Okay.
is a demigod called Morihaus, who is man, bull, eagle. It's a man, half bull with the large wings that can fly. And he, this demigod, this bull man, basically, it's an abomination. He is son of Kinnereth, I think.
Yeah, could be.
He is the son of Kinnereth and some bull, I think it was.
Okay.
It's like from a Greek mythos.
Yeah.
And he and Saint Elysia actually got together.
Of course.
They fell in love, and their offsprings are the first Minotaurs.
Okay. Port Saint
Like-
Alessia.
Sorry?
Poor Saint Alessia. I
Yeah,
guess.
poor Saint Elysia.
Like she's already like let's see, she's not she's the first of the dragon blood as well. So like.
Yeah, she was in need though, so maybe their physiology is a bit different.
Yeah, maybe. And who knows what's true of all these stories.
I mean, a demigod that's half man, half bull with giant fucking wings that basically gave birth together with a chosen of gods, and they gave birth to minotaurs. Like, this is crazy.
It's Greek mythology all over again, indeed.
Yeah, it's like Vivek and his penis sword. That's one thing.
Oh right, yeah. He was nice and kinky, yeah.
Like, sometimes the lore in the Elder Scrolls universe can be a bit of a yeah.
I mean,
it's an acid trip.
I mean, that's what like some of the mythology in our world feels like sometimes. So it
Yeah,
makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Anyway, we should go back to Ayleids.
Yeah. I was talking about the magic of the Ayleids.
Yeah, it is.
So, the thing with Ayleids is that they all were magically innate.
Yes.
They all were very keen battlecasters, or they call it.
I can even like
Bethesda
tell you a
Softworks?
nice story about that. You see in the book Daughter of the Niben, basically some guy tried to attack a village of aliens, but every time he arrived, basically they had all disappeared. And then, or like they got completely slaughtered, and then they disappeared. And by the time the reinforcements came back, they were all back in town. It was just like, what the hell's going on? So after doing some research, he found out that all the citizens of that village would use levitation to get to the high platforms, or water breathing to get into the water. And so basically, that was the realization that the Ayleids, all of them could use magic. So like
Yeah.
you said, like even like the mundane, peasants basically could already use magic.
And the thing with Ayleid magic is that, as I said, they valued the fourth element of light. It was very dear to them, and they saw it as the perfect substance, basically. And the perfect form of light for them was moonlight. Since technically speaking, the moon is a hole in the Aetherius made by Magnus, and yes, that is the perfect source of magicka.
Yeah, by
Since
that
Magnus
logic.
is literally the god of magic.
Oh,
And
Magnus.
from Aetherius, it is fairly known that pieces of Aetherius fall through the holes in the sky to Nirn. And those pieces can be sometimes the meteoric steel or meteoric iron. You can find various weaponry made from that substance. Or it can be meteoric glass, and that is the rare variant. Meteoric glass was highly prized in Ayleid society, and they were known to actually craft pieces of the meteoric glass into crystals. There were three types of these crystals. There were the Velkit crystals, which could be used by a caster to replenish their whole pool of magicka. And then there were the Grand Velkit crystals. Every Ayleid, not ruin, they were not ruins.
Every city.
Every Ayleid city or town had a grand or great Ayleid stone in the center of it. And this grand Ayleid stone powered all the magical contraptions and all the other stones in the city or town or castle or whatever. So sadly, all these stones have been stolen by the time we actually get to play the games and explore the Ayleid ruins, because they are large pieces of raw Aetherius, which are extremely magically potent and extremely valuable.
Yeah, you do technically encounter one in the
you do encounter
main
one,
quest.
but you do not get to use it.
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah. And then there were the Varla stones, which were not large, but very pristine pieces of the meteoric glass. You can think of it as you have types of diamond, and sometimes they have flaws in them, and the Varla stones were flawless, and they were used to basically replenish the enchantment of everything the wearer had on him. It's like, yes, it's very like it's a gameplay thing.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not a lore thing.
Yeah, and it's also because you can actually find these items.
Yeah, you can find the Velkit stones and the Varla stones.
Yes. And you actually picked up one of those earlier.
Yeah, I picked up. Yeah, that's.
I mean, that's the thing you do in Ayleid ruins.
Yeah. Exactly. That's like the only thing you are there for the Varla stones and for the Velkits.
If there's anything
the thing with the Varla stones and Velkit stones is that they were not only like hidden on pedestals in the Ayleid cities. The Ayleids used them. They use them to power these things called the Ayleid wells. And the Ayleid wells are things you can encounter in Oblivion. It's, as the name suggests, it's a well, like a water, where the things you get water from in a village. They were built usually near the Ayleid settlements, and they stored the magicka from Aetherius basically at night. You can think of it as a reverse solar panel. And once the midnight struck, it began to basically radiate the magicka back into the Aetherius. Before midnight, it consumed magicka, and after that, it radiated it back into Aetherius.
Nice.
It is not stated if Ayleids believed that they needed to give back to the Aetherius, or if it was their religion. In the Wild Elves, or no, this is in.
Magicka from the Sky?
Yeah, this is in the Magicka from the Sky. The author basically says that Ayleids probably wanted to give back to the Ephirius.
Mm.
That's the thing, but that's the thing with the books in the Elder Scrolls. You can take them for granted.
No, very true, very true. Like they give nice guidelines, but they follow the same principle of books that were written in our history, where there's inaccuracies. It depends on the person
Yeah,
who wrote
absolutely.
them. Like, they might not
Like-
know everything.
I don't know if this is the right English word, but chronics is
Does
is
not
that the
sound fitting. I'm not sure.
no? Okay,
I'm not
that's
sure. I have to check. But yeah.
Yeah. So back to the Ayleids thing. If the Ayleids were very magic heavy, and when their magicka was depleted, they used these wells to replenish their
Yeah.
magicka. But the wells only could hold a certain amount of magicka, and it got replenished at midnight
Yes.
from the Ephirius.
Which is both a game mechanic and an actual lore
Yeah.
explanation, which is nice.
Yeah, it's always nice when like something that starts out as a lore mechanic gets explained like very nicely.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, in a bit, our next point is coming up. So,
Which is
the Daedric artifacts that I've collected so far.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, to give it like a brief reminder, I'm
Daedric
using a mod
artifacts.
basically that makes the Daedric artifacts better than they
Good.
were in the game.
it makes them good.
Yeah, it makes them actual Daedric artifacts instead of that leveled crap.
Yeah, somewhat enchanted piece of weaponry or armor.
Yeah, exactly. Might have started talking about it a bit too early, but so if
Yeah,
you've been
sorry.
watching what I've been doing so far, is that I just finished the House of Horrors questline pretty quickly, like the one with Moloch Ball. So I got Moloch Ball's mace, the mace of Moloch Ball, and I also finished the Namira questline, the Taste of Death. Let's see. Yeah, we started talking about this too early, but in the original version, let me actually get the right document out for that.
Before you get the documents, I actually got a nice idea. The Ring of Namira, it allows you to basically, it's like the cannibal perk in Fallout games.
Oh, yeah.
It allows you to eat corpses to regain some health and stamina.
Yes.
This
version that I have is slightly different.
Okay.
So
the Ring of basically Namira is about cannibalism.
Yeah. Well, that's technically it's what is it about? It's being vile, rotten,
Yeah.
unaccepted by society kind
If
of
you-
thing. But
if-
yeah,
if
cannibalism
there
is a big thing.
If there was Elder Scrolls game in Valenwood, the land of Bosmer,
Mm-hmm.
it is known that Bosmer do what is called ritual cannibalism.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, like she must have a party over there.
Yeah, Namira is actually Namira in the Bosmer pantheon? That's a good
Good
question.
Not sure. Sorry, I'm just watching you trying to get inside the staircase. But could be. I don't think she's actually in the pantheon. So they do recognize her as being evil, one way or the other.
I don't claim.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember. I'd have to read up on my Bosmer, my Bosmer history. Come on, keep selling and buying stuff. Get into the house. All right. So the Namira's ring in my version, what it does, it gives you some nice boosts that you'll see in a second, and it allows you to eat other people. but you gain their skills. Okay, here you go. Dawnbreaker, more powerful. Yeah, don't look at the damage. And then Mace of Moloch Ball, it absorbs more than it did before.
Don't look at the damage. 3-digit number. What the hell have you been doing?
Okay, and yeah, it's because I have a sort of glitched version of one-handed upgrade. It's like
Yeah, I saw the price on those boots. It was
Yeah.
like a 9-digit number.
Yeah, no, exactly. So what,
Lyriander, what have you been doing?
you know, just
Poor Skyrim engine.
everything dies if I touch it. I actually, little side note, I once did a run through of Skyrim using only alchemy and enchanting. So I did not use a single spell, I did not use a single piece of armor, I did not use two-handed, one-handed, archery, none of that. Basically what I needed to do for that was get the gloves of the pugilist, so get unarmed damage up, and then use like the glitch between alchemy and enchanting to get unarmed damage up to 10 100,000 basically. And then basically you can play the entire game punching everything to death whenever you need to punch something.
Yeah, it's a bit of a one-punch simulator.
Yeah, One Punch Man all the way. Anyway, right, back to the Ring of Namira. Ring of Namira, with my the mod that I have, you basically when you eat someone, you gain a bit of their skill. So like if they were very good in blocking, you get experience in blocking from eating them. Which is, I think, is a cool mechanic rather than just heal.
Namira itself, like the Ring of Namira, it's been very different in the versions.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the majority of the games, it just provided a flat stat boost.
Yeah, yeah. Right now,
It
it
didn't-
technically does that plus the ability
Yeah.
to
But
eat people.
the Ring of Namira is actually not the only artifact Namira has.
No.
She also has the Hand of Namira. And this is supposed to be the actual hand of the Daedric Prince.
Damn.
And even Namira's worshippers are terrified of the hand. Because what it does, it's basically... You can think of it as a black hole of a sort.
Damn.
It eats and corrupts everything it touches, and in its vicinity.
Makes sense. Like when you think about it, like she is also known as the Lady of Decay, and the Goddess of the Dark. Like she's yeah, it makes sense.
Lady of Decay. So this also, is she somehow related to necromancy?
No, I don't think so, because decay takes place after something has died, but necromancy is preserving that, so it's like the opposite almost.
Oh, you're right. So she's actually...
She's more. Think of her more as, if something dies, like it leaves behind a corpse, and that corpse needs to
she's
be
like
decayed.
giving back to Nern.
Yeah, basically, she's the bacteria.
She's the bacteria.
Yeah.
Namiria bacteria. Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it's also nice how the different princes all have somewhat of a good role, really. Like,
Yeah,
so she's Decay,
absolutely.
and then you have Parite, who has a very nice explanation in Skyrim, or like it's given by it's given by one of his followers, where like the Khajiit says, what was it again? Sure, the curly ones curl their noses, but it is the pus of the wound that cleans the wound.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes, or the way he says it, sometimes the only way you can clean something is by infecting it, or making it even making it disease, basically.
Yep. Like all the Daedric princes, they are not necessarily evil.
No, I mean you could technically say that Sheogorath is like the caretaker of the mentally the mentally ill.
That's actually true. He prevents. He basically prevents them from harm.
Yeah, he takes them into his fold,
Yep.
gives them a nice place to live.
Because like Shilgraf not only takes care of the mentally challenged,
I mean, he makes a
Um,
few people mad as well, but
but he also is the god of joy.
yeah, Mania and what was it again?
Yeah, he is. You could say he is the god of emotions.
Yeah, you could look at it like that.
And like
The ones that are more questionable, like Molag Bal is always questionable.
Molag Bal and Mereus Dagon.
I will say now, Marius Dagon, you can make an argument because he is the Daedric Prince of Destruction, yes, but also change. He makes sure that things change rather than constantly being the same way.
In that case, Molag Bal is the.
I mean, Molag Bal is just domination and the king of ravens. Like, I don't see any positives here.
I mean,
Unless you can say that someone needs to, take charge or something, but then he does it a bit too aggressively.
It's like there's a line between domination and leadership.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Dunmar have an interesting way of looking at it. They have the so-called House of Troubles, which are the term for the four Daedric lords: Maroons, Dagon, Sheogorath. Consider it basically a challenge, sort of like they challenge you. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Molag Bal is in Morrowind, the king of rain. He tries to the bloodlines of houses and otherwise ruin the Dunmer's gene pool. A race of monsters set to live in blah blah. Okay, yeah. Also, epic kill of a dragon with a pickaxe. Alright, so yeah, King of Madness, Malakath. Oh, Malakath is totally good. Like he takes care of the misformed, the ones
misformed and unfortunate. Like Malakath is basically the caretaker of goblins and
those who are rejected by everyone else.
Yeah,
as well.
Goblins, gnolls.
I think those who are miscarriages as well. I don't know.
And let's not go into that.
So
the point is that Daedric princes are, in a sense, chaos.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they definitely are.
Apart from Gigalag, of course. But Daedric princes are chaos, and chaos is often revered, but sometimes it's also worshipped by some of the more open-minded mortals.
Yeah.
Especially Sheogorath, he is basically responsible for spontaneous actions.
Mhm.
Also there are princes like Azura. Azura is a Daedric prince, but she's basically all good.
Yeah, unless you upset her.
Unless you upset her, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how like she's basically one of the good ones, but she is the reason why the Dunmer are now very dark skinned.
Yeah.
Because they like the tribunal, the three living gods, pissed off several gods by becoming living gods. Basically, and so it's like, okay, fuck all of y'all, you're all becoming black now, or grey, I should say.
Yeah, she basically transformed Chimera, or Chimera.
Yeah, Chimera.
Who were the original elves who inhabited Morrowind.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's it called? Morrowind and.
Well, Vvardenfell was already
Vvardenfell.
That's part of Morrowind, so.
Yeah, it's part of it, but it's not really.
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like they used to be gold skinned, like the Altmer. and that you can actually still see that on the tribunal, where let's see,
Vivek is
Viv-
actually
yeah, Vivek-
half black, half gold.
yeah, let's call it grey. But I think he chose for that. He chose to take that punishment, whereas the other two are just fully gold still.
Yeah. Is what's it called? Daegov Ur.
Oh god, yeah.
Is he the tribunal or not?
No, he's not. He's a
not.
separate thing, and he is actually grey-skinned.
Yeah. Let's not go into Daegov Ur and his worshippers whose face cavities cave inwards and then they grow a tentacle.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. But we spoke about Vardenfell. And
Yes.
speaking of Vardenfell,
Yes.
did you know that Vardenfell is actually, or at least the Red Mountain, that is basically Vardenfell,
Yes.
is one of the towers of Tamriel.
Yes, it is the Red Tower. And the towers is actually an interesting lore thing, which they haven't really, fully touched on. But basically, there are several towers in Mundus. And the first one, the Adamantia, also known as the Adamantine Tower, is the tower created by the Aedra and the dawn, back in the beginning of Mundus, basically, where they also took out Lorkhan's heart and then yeeted it away. And then where that landed, that's the Red Mountain.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about those towers, of course, is so you have all these towers, and every tower has its stone, and these stones are magical, physical echoes of the original stone, the Zero Stone, which is in the Adamantine Tower, and all these stones basically are immensely powerful artifacts that can be used to great effect. Now, the Adamantia Stone, also known as the Zero Stone, is still in the foundation of that tower. Which, by the way, that tower is where is that? On the Isle of Balfiera. Not sure how to say that, but that's near. Yeah, it's in the Illic Bay. You can actually see it. You can see it from High Rock, basically, in Elder Scrolls Online. So that tower is still around. Then we have the Red Tower, and the Red Tower is, of course, the Red Mountain. And the stone of the Red Tower is Lorkhan's heart, the heart of Lorkhan, which, as you know, has been used by the tribunal to become living gods. So I'd say that's pretty fucking powerful. It's also what caused the Dwemer to disappear. So yeah, very powerful indeed. Then we have the White Gold Tower, which you might also recognize.
Yeah, that's the Imperial City main landmark.
Yeah, it's the tower, the Imperial Tower. It's the White Gold Tower.
Have you actually spoken about why the towers are actually a thing?
No, I haven't. You have that in front of you right now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, are any what? How many people am I speaking to? So, are you familiar with Atlas, the Greek god?
Yes. Yes.
Who holds up the sky?
Yes. Yes.
He is a man atop of a mountain that basically bears the weight of the world on his weight of the sky on his shoulders.
Yes.
The towers are spread across Nairn, and the majority of them are on Tamriel, and they actually hold up Oblivion.
Yeah, they keep Mundus in place.
Yeah. they are there to separate Mundus and Oblivion.
Oh, well, I mean, all the Oblivion realms. Yes.
Yeah. So if the towers were ever deactivated, Nairn or Mundus as it is would basically merge with Oblivion and be destroyed.
Yes, and that's kind of what Molag Bal tried to do in Elder Scrolls Online. He tried
Also,
to merge.
what Talmor are trying to do right now.
Yeah, smart Talmor.
Because Talmor, the elves used to be gods.
Oh no, they believe they used to be gods.
They believed they used to be gods, and they think that by merging, basically, how Mundus came to be is that Lord Khan, the god, tricked a few of, a lot of the other Atada to create Mundus, and the creation of the Mundus basically stripped a lot of the gods of their power.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they got very angry at him, and they sacrificed him at the what's it called? The Adamantia.
Yes.
That's one of the towers.
Yeah, it's the first tower.
That's the first. Yeah, that's the first tower. It's the oldest structure on Tamriel.
Yes.
And they basically sacrificed Lorcan there.
Yeah.
And the elves believe that their ancestors used to be one of the Etada that helped create the Mundus, and because of the creation, because of the power stripped from them, they slowly over centuries and centuries degraded, basically devolved into elves as they are now.
Yes.
The elves basically believe in a reverse evolution.
Okay, I think it's more like they I don't know. they try to regain their godly state by using genes that are still in their genetic pool. Of course, they never call it that because that's modern science. But yeah, they.
The thing is that elves, all elves used to be one elf, like.
Yes. It's also funny how like the what are they called? The Altmer. They believe they believe this very strongly. So they. That's why the way they have their children and everything, it's very selective. Like only perfect specimens are allowed to survive. Everything that's not perfect, every Altmer child that is not perfect, immediately gets killed. It's
yeah,
a practice that's apparently still happening.
Yeah, Altmer, the High Elves believe that they are the most pure version of the elf. They believe that they are the most closest one to their ancestors. Like
yes,
to
exactly.
What are they called? The Old Elves.
They have many names. I forget.
Whatever.
We should get back to the towers.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so the white gold tower, the one in Imperial City, has as its stone the Chim el Abadal, which is basically crystallized blood from the heart of Lorcan, which fell to the ground as the heart sailed over the heartlands. So that's the stone that they have. Then we have the crystal-like law, also known as the Crystal Tower, which is on the Somerset Isles, where the Altmer are from. Let's see. They seem to have a stone called the Transparent Law, which was used to power. Let's see, when the outsider used the divine power of the armor to. Okay, no. Basically, in one of the DLC of Elder Scrolls Online, you basically reforge that stone somehow. But what's more interesting is that during the Oblivion Crisis, it apparently got stolen by hordes of Daedra.
What?
Of Daedra, yeah. So there's already one tower that lost its stone.
Yeah, the thing with Transparent Law is that it is of Daedric construction. Aedra's made it like the opposite of Daedra. Aedra,
Yes.
basically Talos, Lorcan, Zenitar, Mara, Kain,
Yes, yes,
those guys.
Hello, Jarls. By the way.
Oh, very well. Here,
Yeah, we have an active chat now.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the stream. You can see it.
Oh, Jarlsberg, hi guys. Hey,
So yeah,
we got viewers.
where were we? Boy.
Crystal Claw.
Yeah, Crystal. Yeah. So yeah, this. Yeah, the Daedra, they're basically opposites yet the same. Anyway. Then, next tower, we have the Snow Throat, also known as the Snow Tower, which is the throat of the world, aka the biggest mountain in Skyrim.
Believed to be the.
Yeah,
throat
believed
of
to
the
be,
world.
yeah.
It is not stated because, like, on one hand you have towers like Doomcrag or Orichalk Tower or the Wild Gold Tower or the Adamantia, who are actual towers.
Oh,
And then you
sure.
have things like the Red Mountain and the Throat of the World, which are just huge fucking hills.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it's sort of a tower. I can imagine like old languages having the word for mountain and tower being almost the same. So
You can say it towers above
yeah, exactly.
all.
Yeah.
But I mean, towers they are supposed to be man-made, or at least like
They're constructed, yeah.
Yeah, this is like nature.
Yeah.
But also nature was constructed because this
Yeah,
is
exactly.
it's like confirmed that these things. I don't know if even does Nern have tectonic plates? Does it have like tectonic
Yeah,
activity?
like we don't know. It's never specified. So
Yeah, exactly. It's never specified. So
oh well.
the thing is, with the Snow Throat, or like the Throat of the World, the stone is said to be something called the Cave,
Yes, the cave.
with
And
a big C.
yeah. So there's no they haven't found the stone yet. Let me put it like that. That's what they say. So and
The peak is also the peak is described as being only half there.
yeah, it's kind of, so they really left like they left it open.
Yeah, it's some of these towers are very much like open to discussion.
Interpretation. Yeah, yeah.
Open to interpretation. Yes, exactly.
Alright, moving on. The next is the green sap, which is a. Sorry, you could say the green tree. I'm not sure if it's ever called that, but it's basically the Bosmer. They did not build a tower. No, they grew it. a great grot oak, with whose roots
Which is
sprang
also,
from a
you can
partial
say
acorn.
that the green tower
Yeah.
is the creation of the god Ifre,
Mm.
which or Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, it's in Aldmeri Pantheon, Jeffrey
Interesting
or
name.
Jepre.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Jepre, maybe. He is basically a living tree guy. If
Oh
you
yeah,
ever
I think I've encountered him in this. So yeah.
Yeah. If you ever played Legend of Zelda, do you remember the old talking huge tree? That's basically him.
Yeah, okay, yeah, basically. I'm not sure if it would burn. Let me check if there's anything about that. I mean, it's still wood, so it could burn. Oh, you also need to keep in mind that those trees can walk, as in they slowly move. So let's see.
And another fighter joined the chat. Schwan is here.
Yes, I noticed. I can see now that I need to change the layout as well. It's
Okay,
kind of
so
covering- yeah, there
I'm
we go.
gonna follow. The green sap. It's basically a large network of the graph of trees,
Ah, yes.
and
All walking
you
about.
you can basically think of it as it's still a place. It's still a constructed place, but
Yeah.
it's been overgrown by these trees that together form a huge spiral into the skies.
Yeah. So.
And following the Alessian Slave Rebellion, the Elden Tree was almost converted in like the White Gold Tower.
Yeah.
And if the name Anumaril rings a bell, he was one.
Yeah.
He was one of the Ayleid kings.
Yes.
And Anumaril basically attempted to convert the region into a new home for the Ayleids. After the Slave Alessian Rebellion, which basically eradicated all of the Ayleids, they decided to regroup here. And Anumaril stopped the Elden Tree from moving by turning its perchance acorn.
Okay. Yeah. No, that because the acorn is the stone of that.
Yeah. The acorn, perchance acorn, is the stone, and the thing with the green tap, as you said, it can move. It follows the acorn around.
Yeah, exactly.
And what Anumaril did, he basically planted the acorn.
Okay, yeah.
But this was unsuccessful.
Oh, he failed.
Yeah.
Also,
Because-
Jarl's nice reference. I think it might work, but you need to keep in mind that you have to burn an entire province worth of trees for that. So they'd have their work cut out for them, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tried to plant the acorn to stop the city, or it's sometimes described as a city, and sometimes it is described as just a single tree. But it was actually like a whole complex of buildings and trees, and it all moved, and it stopped moving in the late Third era, which is basically after the Oblivion crisis.
Yeah. A lot
So
of things
something
changed.
there happened. Yeah, a lot of things happened in the during the Oblivion crisis, and that finally laid rest to the green sap. It didn't die. The stone is still there. It's still supporting the sky, so it doesn't fall onto the earth.
Right. And then let's see. Next tower.
Orichalk.
Yeah, the one that's very mysterious. Oh, other than the name, nothing is known.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Well,
it is known that it's
it's
on Yokuda.
Oh yeah. All right, Yokuda, the original island for the Red Guards.
Yes.
Which
Also
sunk.
inhabited. Yeah, and Yokuda is, or at least was, inhabited by the left-handed elves.
Yes, very interesting name.
Yeah, they are sometimes called the sinister elves.
Lovely
or
names.
left-handed elves. They don't actually have something mere name.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
They're just described as sinister elves or left-handed elves,
Yeah.
and they are supposed to be even more vile and murderous and crazy than the sea elves.
Damn, they are already quite crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So-
Okay. So the stone of Orichalk is said to be
Orichalk.
a sword, which is very fitting for the Red Guards. But the stone and the tower all went down when Yokuda sank into the ocean. So it
Yeah.
might still be there. Then,
And-
oh, right. So, would you want to say?
No, nothing.
Okay, yeah. So then we have the last tower, the Walk Brass, also called the Brass Tower, which is the construction that the Dwemer made. The what's it? It has a nice
Numidium.
name. The Numidium, yeah, that one.
Numidium.
Numidium, yeah. Which was supposed to be an immensely powerful, basically, what did I call it again? Dwemer machine. I forgot the official
It
name.
was more like a god.
Yeah, basically,
be
they
honest.
wanted to make like an ultimate machine by making a god, basically. They wanted to. I think,
they wanted to make themselves their own god because
Yes.
the Dwemer they didn't exactly worship
No.
any god. They acknowledged their existence, but they thought themselves above them.
Yes, and they were trying to use Kagranek's tools, I think, to implement the Heart of Lorkhan as its stone, which didn't work, obviously. But let's see, those plans got interrupted during the Battle of the Red Mountain, wherein all Dwemer on Nirn disappeared in the First Era, year 700. Let's see. Eventually, let's see. Tiber Septim was able to assemble all the pieces that got destroyed, or like they got first it got separated, and then he assembled all the pieces and used it to basically create his empire. And
then it was later destroyed by Zurin Arctus.
Yes. So
Tiber Septim, who is one guy.
Yes, he is 3 guys as well.
Yeah, he is also 3 guys who are simultaneously 4 guys who lived from first era to the 3rd era.
Yeah, it's
and they are all together form one god, and in the history there's sometimes 1 and sometimes there's like 6.
Yes.
So yeah, it's
Tiber
fun.
Septim is a whole story on his own.
Yep.
So about the brass tower, how Tiber Septim used it. Originally, it was designed to use the Heart of Lorkhan, but because they didn't really have much access to that, they instead used
Mantella,
which is
a
the
powerful
heart.
soul gem that contained the oversoul of Talos, Zurin Arctus, and Ysmir.
Yes.
Which
And
basically is the creation of Talos.
yeah, but, well, it's hard to
Like Talos the god.
Yeah, exactly. So
Because
the Mantella, basically, that thing is also what creates the Warp of the West. So you could actually say that that is the true stone of the brass tower, because all of those stones basically are linked to big events in history.
the thing with Mantella is that what it actually is determined by you in Daggerfall.
Oh yeah.
And in Daggerfall, the Mantella is the heart of Wolfheart, the Imperial
or Zurin Arctus.
Zurin Arctus, or both.
Yes, exactly. It's complicated.
But not Hjalti Earlybeard, which is interesting.
Yes. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, like we actually mentioned it like before, like the dragon breaks, and
you can actually talk about the dragon breaks for a second, because I don't really know about them.
Yes. Okay.
They're really interesting.
Yes, they are. Let me get a nice page open for that, just for reference. Dragon break. There we go. So yeah, it's the way it's nicely described on the wiki is it is a phenomenon where linear time is broken and becomes non-linear. The dragon part refers to Akatosh, who is often depicted as a dragon, but he's the god of time as well, so that's why it's called a dragon break. And break because, well, time breaks, basically. The biggest one, or at least the one that is universally known, is the one known, it's the longest known dragon break, called the Middle Dawn, which happened between the 13th and the 23rd century of the First Era. So that's it's supposed to have spanned 1008 years, and all races.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a long ass break, and because of that, like a lot of the things that happened in that period are, you know, they're not, they don't make sense if you look at history books. Like several things happening at the same time. Let's see.
You can think of it as a Deus Ex Machina
sort
for
of.
the writers.
Yeah. Another big dragon break was the first activation of the Nimidium by Tiber Septim.
Yep.
Which heralded the Third Empire.
He activated it by basically swinging a sword at it.
Yeah, well with that extra heart in there.
Yeah.
And let's see. The second activation of the Nimidium, which is what happens in Daggerfall, or at least one of the endings of Daggerfall, I should say, because the game has 6 endings, which all basically rely on who do you give the totem to in the end. Or
Yes.
and basically there are like 3 different nobility that you can give it to. So you have the nobility of the Sentinel, nobility of Wayrest, and the nobility of Daggerfall. Then you have what's his face? Hold on. Where is he called? Gorthwalk Gorm, who wish to recreate the Orcish homeland of Ursinium. You can give it to him. You can give it to Uriel the 7th. Uriel Septim the 7th. You can give it to Mannimarco, which is he pops up, and then finally,
which is the bad ending.
Yeah. And then finally, you can give it to the Underking, which is supposed to be basically that battle mage turned into a lich-like creature. Yes. He claims himself that he is that battle mage, though other sources.
He says that he is Zurin Arctos.
Yes.
And Zurin Arctos is supposed to be one of the aspects of Talos, together with Ysmir Wolfheart and Hjalti Erilgerd. And together they form Talos Stormcrown.
Yes, exactly. So,
which is a cool name.
Yeah. So in the game, basically, you are given multiple endings, which is nice for a game. But what happened historically, looking back, is that because they used this stone, basically, a dragon break happened, and what happened is that all the endings happen at the same time. All the like the entire game it takes place over a span of 3 days, and after that, basically, let's see. So Ursinium was reformed. All the leaders.
What actually is Ursinium?
Ursinium is basically a kingdom for the orcs.
Because orcs are the only race that don't have a region in Tamriel for their own.
They don't have a specific country that belongs to them.
Yeah, Skyrim have Nords, then Cyrodiil have Imperials, Black March for the Argonians, Morrowind for the Dunmer, the Dark Elves, Somerset Isles for Outmer, the High Elves, Elsewhere for Khajiit, High Rock is it the Bosmer?
High Rock is the Bretons, I think.
Breton.
And then
Bosmer is Valiantwood.
Yes.
Valiantwood. And High Rock is Bosmer and
High Rock is the red. High
Rock is Redguard and.
No, Hammerfell.
Hammerfell is a Redguard.
Yes, Hammerfell is Redguard. High Rock is Breton. There we go.
Yeah. I always mix up those two.
Okay, so what happened is basically so you have Osima. Osima got re-established. The three groups of nobility all gained power. Uriel Septim, because he reactivated the Numidium, he basically also had more imperial influence over that area. Then let's see. Then you have the King of Worms, Mannimarco, who became more powerful, and then the Underking, who was able to finally be free from the curse of he as long as the heart is still out there, he can't.
The Underking, it suggests he was undead.
Yes, he was undead, but he doesn't want to be anymore. That whole tale.
Who wants to be undead if they're not Lich undead?
Yeah, no, they suffer.
Yeah.
Also, Jarls, the orcs, well, in this world they don't have a a homeland because they're too wild to establish a kingdom of any kind. In fact, in
They
the
have
earlier
kings.
in the earlier games, in both Arena and Daggerfall, they are actually they are basically creatures. Like you actually like you can't play them. You can't play as one of them. They are wild creatures. And it's
Yeah.
actually it's even more racist because they in a lot of the old books that you find, they are considered one of the beast folk, one of the beast races, like the Khajiit and Argonians, even though they actually stem from the elves. Like their
Yeah.
official name is Orsimer, Mer being the indicator for elf. So yeah, no, they face a lot of racism.
And the thing is that they also worship Malakath,
Yeah.
who is the god of the shunt.
Yeah, the shunned. Yeah, that's also
And-
why they worship him, because they keep getting shunned.
And also another fun thing, in the older games like Morrowind and Oblivion, if you actually play an orc, you get an automatic minus to charisma.
Yeah, and not only that, you actually get your disposition with basically every race that isn't orc is
Yeah.
like lowered.
Basically,
Even further.
everybody dislikes you from the get-go.
Yeah, it's like
It's so fucking racist. I mean, like,
By Zora.
It-
yeah.
it's on one hand it's racist. On the other hand, like, if a tusked green-skinned guy came to you, would you actually be friendlier to him than to a normal guy?
Yeah, it's a very racist. It's nice that they kind of like, by the time of Skyrim, they've sort of improved, but it's still like, one of the things they say about the orc. If you're wearing orcish armor, they say something like, orcish armor, strong and ugly, like the ones who created it. So like they're saying, oh yeah, no, the orcs are like very strong, but they're also ugly. Which is even more hilarious if you are playing as an orcish character, and then he just
Yeah.
says that to your face.
As Jarlsberg says, Pico is freaking blue.
Yeah, don't bring D&D into this.
Yeah, the thing is, the orcs are also, like Pico, they are not green by default. They have been turned green
Ah, yes.
by an evil god called Boethia.
Ah, the Daedric Prince with, yeah.
Yeah, she basically ate their god, Trinamak. Trinamak
yeah.
was the god that
For the
orcs
yeah.
used to. They weren't orcs before that.
Yes.
They were normal elves, and some elves used to worship this guy called Trinamak, and I don't exactly remember or recall what the trigger for this event was, but Trinamak did something, and Boethia got very angry. She ate the god and pooped him out, and the pooped version of the god was Malakath.
Yeah.
He
Poor
turned from a
Malakath.
normal god
Okay.
to an orc god.
You're
And
also
all his worshippers turned into orcs.
Yes. By the way, we're saying Daedric Prince. They're called princes, but they're technically the same thing as gods. So like the name doesn't fully make sense. But yeah, a Daedric Prince ate a different god, and
Yeah, and
Just,
an evil god ate a normal god, and the normal god became an evil god, and he also turned green. And all the guys that worshipped him
also
got
became
turned green as a punishment for worshipping him for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah. So yeah, it's a sad fate indeed. And that is a great note to end today's stream on, because
God poopy.
Yeah.
God pooping.
God pooping, exactly. Because both of our playthroughs are about to end. So
Yeah.
perfect. Let's see. Okay, mine has ended just now. You are still reading a book, but
Yeah,
not long.
and we in this podcast we actually went through all the discussion goals we wanted
yes.
to go through.
Yeah, I was worried that we're gonna stick to we spent too much time on Mannimarco or something, but no, we we managed to do everything.
We actually stick to the plan.
Yeah. So
Victory.
Yeah, victory. We are making progress. All right. Not sure what we're gonna talk about next time. Probably gonna talk a bit more about. Well, it depends. If Tom manages to actually meet Mannimarco in game, we might be able to talk about Mannimarco.
I'm gonna go. No, this time I'm gonna get lost in an Ayleid ruin.
Again.
What do you mean again? I got lost in Oblivion this time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The game isn't very beginner friendly.
No, but like I think that's a nice feature about Oblivion, the fact that you can actually get lost. Whereas Skyrim is like, how the hell do you get lost? Like everything is like just hand wrapped for you, like
Yeah, not even speaking of the fact that there is literally a spell
Oh yeah, that guides you the way.
that guides you like a path. It's like a fucking GPS.
Yeah, basically. I have actually like I only ever use that in the beginning, but you should be able to use it by the end of the game still. Though
I actually use it sometimes, like
Wow.
especially when I'm in wilderness and I encounter the classic problem of the waypoint is there,
Oh yeah, and
but
it's not
there's
there.
a unpassable mountain in the
Oh,
way.
like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Like,
you need to
where is
either
the
go mountain
actual
climbing or
intended way?
yeah, exactly. How is supposed to get around this mountain,
Yeah, I used it. I use it for that one.
All right. Now both of our place to visit ended, and I think this is a good ending point. So thank you all
Yeah.
for watching. Was nice to have some interaction this time as well. And well, you'll have to wait and see what the next episode is going to be about.
It's going to be a surprise.
Surprise! All right. Have
Thanks
a
for
good one,
watching and
everyone.
see you.
Yes, thank you for watching and see you
And
next
for
time.
listening.
Yeah, for listening. Yeah, well, they're watching now.
They're watching now.
Yeah. All right. Bye
See you guys.
bye.
Bye.